Hey, what's up everybody? Today we're going to review the Storm Collectibles skeletons from Golden X. So, let's get started. If you're wondering why today looks a little different, it's because it actually is. Today I am actually testing things out on my camera to just see how I can get a feel for it. And feedback, we greatly appreciate it. Depending on how it goes, just hit me up on Instagram, let me know how you feel about it. And yeah, so let's get started. I happen to have 4 of them. Shout out to Storm Collectibles for letting me get these skeletons and having a good old time, because I have waited a long time for this. So shout out to you, Storm. I'm not naming any names, but we already know who it is. So I appreciate you guys. So as you see, I have 4 here kind of set up, and let's get started. The skeleton's actually pretty fun. It was one of those things that I waited a long time for, like mixing and matching and having fun. So it just so happened to come along with the Golden X stuff, and I'm really excited. So yeah, first things first, let's get a quick look at the skeleton just standing straight up. Not sure how well you guys can see this. So let me just, there we go. Here's our backside. Here's the front of our skeleton. Yeah, they stand really well. It's not one of those issues we have to worry about them falling. It's no lopsidedness, no weirdness going on here, where it's like, oh, well, I can't get it to stand or anything like that. That's not the case here. So I'm gonna move back a little. There we go. Change that focus up. Yeah, so we don't have to worry about them standing. They actually stand pretty fine, all while having a nice bit of articulation that kind of mostly follows a skeletal structure, and as well as can get a little different. So now we're gonna jump into articulation, which is my favorite part. With our skeleton here, and I'm definitely trying to work my way around this to fit the new camera schematics, because this is a little different for me. Our skeleton has head range that goes very briefly up, but can look deeply far down. We have a movable jaw, which I absolutely adore and love. If you can't see it, there we go. I really like this movable jaw. You can actually tilt. There's a little bit of tilt here going left and right. And I believe it's on a ball joint, but it's really tightly packed in there. When I've tried to remove the skull, the issue was that the skull will kind of pull out the rest of the body. So it's almost like doing a Mortal Kombat fatality. So I just stood clear of that for now. As far as our arms go, as you can see here, we can go all the way up. There's going to be this main little extra bit of plastic here that prevents it from going further up this way. So as you can see, all you have to do is turn it around. And you can rotate all the way around with ease. There is a secret little bicep swivel that allows you to rotate it. Our joint can go this far up. It can go, yeah, this far up. We have a ball peg that allows you to simulate normal wrist movements. And inside the skeleton, let's try to zoom in on that. All right. There's going to be a ball joint here that allows you to go forward and dip in. So ab crunch articulation is pretty easy going forwards, and pretty crazy going backwards as well as allowing you to to rotate side to side. And if you wanted to tilt side to side, you can as well too. So tilting side to side should not be an issue for you. As far as everything from the lower body, it has a little little bit of a butterfly joint for the thighs that allow you to move around. You can even wiggle them out a little bit, but I prefer just putting them back in. And then you can rotate all the way out. You can rotate forwards. As you can see here, they have really incredible range going forwards. And our legs can only hit a 90-degree angle going. Oh, actually, it can hit an acute angle. I'm sorry. You have to match up those bone structures. So you can hit an acute angle. We have forward and backwards pivot, and we have generous ankle pivot. This can rotate left and right, and we have a toe pivot as well. All these things are actually pretty nice, and I think having that with a sturdy body on the skeleton, allowing it to pretty much stand up and do normal stuff, makes it one of those things that it's definitely worthy of having. As you can see, I have all 4 of mine out at once. I kind of have them. I have one just sitting here with Cat and Baby Yoda, and I thought that was pretty funny to have. But more importantly, I know a lot of people ask me on Instagram about why did it have like a little packing peanut in the rib cage. Now, the packing peanut in the rib cage is very important because it's a soft rib cage, as you can see here. So if you don't want that to warp while in your packaging, a packing peanut keeps that in place so you don't have any issues whatsoever. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind. This has been one of those really easier reviews, and I think This is actually a lot of fun to kind of just sit down and enjoy yourself. Now, in terms of accessories and what it comes with, you actually get a lot of stuff, which is pretty cool. Because it comes as a 2-pack, you will get 2 sets of weapons and 4 sets of hands, one for each skeleton. So you'll get 2 of each for the left skeleton, 2 of each for the right skeleton. And let's go over what he comes with. This one I have the default hands on, so you'll have your closed fist. As you can see, those ones have various different things. So in terms of the stuff that he holds, we have 2 sword holding hands. Let's actually change this focus up. There we go. We have 2 weapon holding hands, I should say, not sword holding. And just in case for you Mythic Legions guys, if you're curious, as you can see here, it can hold Mythic Legions weapons. It can hold the spear. Obviously, you're going to warp that hand plastic a little bit, but it can actually hold these items. And it can hold the larger sword as well. All you have to do is just move around that plastic. So yeah. Then you're going to get what I call trigger hands. These are the more relaxed ones. These I don't think can actually hold weapons without you having some support like sticky tack. But if you have any sort of weapons like guns, I do believe you can have some fun with your skeletons like this. Next up, we have our open relax hands. These are pretty nice. Then you have stuff like open clawed hands, which are like for ripping and tearing that normal skeletons would have, especially if the unarmed ones in Golden Axe. Now, I've desperately had a good time with these, like just out the box playing with them. So I'm pretty sure you guys would too. So real quick, let's try to pose some up. So if you want to talk about like posing these guys up, having a good look with them. As you can see here, very quickly I got him to pose in stance, sword and shield, holds up just fine. He holds up his own weight, so it's not one of those issues. Even with something like, actually, let's test this out right now. Let's test out his balance of holding weapons while balancing on one leg. I want to really test that out, because that's actually pretty important to me. I know it's not important to others, but it's important to me. So as you can see here, one of those issues is going to be balancing on that foot, because our foot has actual real, I don't know if you guys can see this, but the foot is actually based like a real bone, so it doesn't sit flat. So you have to be very careful. So some of you may use sticky tack, but I'm going to try to do the balancing game. And yeah, he can balance on one leg with his sword and his shield. So that's a plus for me. As you can see here, yeah, I'm having a good time with these. I think you should too. So yeah, running poses, things like, actually, let me do that. There we go. Holds the shield really well, because it actually, I didn't go over the sword and shield, so I'm sorry. The sword and shield is actually really dope too, because they hold their weapons pretty well. And it has a skull design on it. You'll get the handle and you get the part that holds in. So even if you didn't want to give it to the skull guy, if you wanted to give it to another character, I think you'll be fine. And then we have our sword, which is a semi-hard plastic and a semi-soft bottom hilt. But I think these are a nice basic sword to have for a skeleton. Overall, been really fun. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear my desk, and then we are going to jump into the size comparisons. So let's get to it. Hey guys, welcome to the size comparison part of the video. So welcome back. First things first, we want to compare him in continuity with the Axe Battler and his dragon. So here is our dragon, which is going to sit next to our skeleton. As you clearly can see, the dragon towers over our skeleton. And here we have the Axe Battler, ready to be handsome and rugged, like a young Dolph Lundgren. And as you can see, size-wise, our skeletons are a little smaller than the Axe Battler, but overall, in a nice size comparison, so they're a little smaller, but still, alright. I mean, he's a big buff dude, and this guy's a skeleton. What did you expect, right? So now we're going to jump into some other size comparisons. And this is where it gets a little crazy for me, because I like to compare it with a bunch of other stuff. And I think for skeletons, this is where you get to have fun, because you get to pick how and you want to do it. I'm going to compare it to another Storm Collectibles, which is going to be that of Sub-Zero. And as you can see, the skeleton is actually taller than that of Sub-Zero, which is a little crazy. I didn't expect that. But overall, the reason why I like it still is because if you want to do one of those things where you want to do a fatality move, or you want to choose to take apart your skeleton and do something crazy, this works well inside Mortal Kombat. Now, for those of you that collect stuff like 1000 Toys, Hellboy, Dante, or other Mythic Legions, this is where size comparison is going to get a little wonky for you. Because if you wanted them to fight giant skeletons as Dante, Dante is on the smaller side. So you have to be very careful with that, how you're going to scale that. If you're going to be doing action shots, I think you'll be just fine. But standing them up next to each other may be a little troublesome. Meanwhile, Hellboy kind of fits in a little better because he's bigger. And I think that works out pretty cool. But again, action shots is going to be just fine. I think you should worry about if you're going to do static stuff. You should be careful. Now, with Mythic Legions, if you have Mythic Legion skeletons, here's a 1.0 skeleton. And here is a 2.0 skeleton to kind of get you a feel for what you're getting into, right? And as you can see, these guys are smaller. But if you're going to have a skeleton army, I'd gladly take all the skeletons that I can get, which I'm totally down for, right? Next up, we're just going to compare to other miscellaneous stuff, so that way we can just see how it looks with other stuff. And here we have SH Figuarts Kamen Rider Kuga. We're going to do a Marvel Legends 6-inch Spider-Man. We're going to do a Lightning Collection Red Ranger. Any Red Ranger will do at this point, because when you say Red Ranger, that's pretty ambiguous, so my bad. And then we have a Articulated Icons Ninja. And as you can see, the Storm skeleton kind of towers over them. But if you're aiming for something that's big and monstrous and wants to do some of those power scaling stuff, where you're just trying to make it seem like you're overwhelmed by the odds, this perfectly fits in for what you have going on. Otherwise, you may want to rethink how you want to build your skeleton army. Personally, it doesn't bother me at all. Now, we're going to move these guys over and do knock down our skeleton here. That was not a good look, guys. Let's get you to stand up. Actually, you stand up pretty quickly, just fine. Last but not least, I'm going to do a couple more, which is going to be our synthetic. And then we're going to do a Mezco Me to show you that even as a Mezco, Mezco stuff is a tad bit smaller. Real quick though, shout out to Milliworks for those shotguns you sent me. I plan on doing some really cool photos, so shout out to you for that. And just in case you wanted to throw in some really large thing, I also have Darkseid, as you guys saw on my Instagram, and you can see that Darkseid pretty much towers above all here. So yeah, overall, skeletons are hella fun. I can't wait to get more. Shout out to Storm Collectibles for letting me review these, because I definitely plan on building a skeleton army to destroy my enemies in the army of darkness. So as always, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for allowing me to try something a little new with my camera, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, please be good, do good, drink your water. Later.